All right, what's interesting here is that the word common in vocab questions is fairly common. It just ends up showing up a lot in these, and I guess it's because the word common has a lot of different meanings, and so it's very versatile. And so for these questions where they're asking about common words that are used in uncommon ways, the word common is pretty useful. So all that is to say that, we just need to be careful here, as always with vocab questions, that what we are choosing as our answer is not necessarily the most common definition of the word, but it is the word definition that matches with the context. So as I read these sentences, I'm looking for any repeated ideas, because that's usually a good sign that they're repeating the idea as well with this word. And so I'm going to do some highlighting here in addition to just looking for the word common. And any other ambition would be a reversal of our primary destinies, and it will never be in women's interest to change the assignment they have received. It seems to us incontestable that our common happiness, above all that of women, requires that they never aspire to the exercise of political rights and functions. Here we must seek their interest in the wishes of nature. So why did I underline that? Well, they're clearly talking about this kind of inclusiveness, and they really want the idea of happiness to also be inclusive. So when we come up with our guess for what common means, there's a little bit of a challenge here, because the words I noticed don't really grammatically replace the word common here. We couldn't say it seems to us incontestable that our happiness, but that's kind of the vibe I'm going for. Something that is kind of like the word we. It's kind of inclusive. And so, maybe we go with something like, mutual. There's a word that I'm thinking of. It's going to happen to be an answer choice here, but maybe something more like collective. The point of the guess is not necessarily to pick like a good word that would be able to substitute in that blank. It's mostly just to capture the sense of the word. And so we is terrible grammatically, but it fits, definitionally. And so what word matches with that? Well, the idea of a shared happiness, right? It's belonging to all of us, right? So it fits with the context. Now, if we were unsure, we can always take the other choices and plug them in and see if they make sense. And the one that definitely doesn't is the word coarse. First of all, that has a very negative vibe. We think of coarse as in like something that's rough or not smooth. We also maybe think of the word coarse as in like, maybe the word we would use today is basic. If someone is coarse, they're basic, right? That's kind of maybe how I would think of it. But no matter what, there's no negative vibes about these sentences here. We're talking about happiness, right? So it's positive, if anything. I also think maybe there's, the word similar could be a little tempting, because it seems like we're talking about women. And so maybe, okay, well, there's a comparison being made. But actually, no, there's not, right? I mean, they're talking about women and saying, we need to care about people's happiness, especially women, but it's not saying a comparison. And so similar doesn't make sense. We're not trying to divide the groups. We're trying to combine them, right, into one shared happiness. And then average, I don't know, I guess I kind of get rid of that almost for the same reason that I would get rid of coarse. In this context, it would seem kind of negative. It's an average, I don't know, that doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem to make any sense, and so that's not a good sign, right? Whereas if it's shared, it belongs to all of us, right? I can point to something in those lines that justifies it, and that's always what we prefer to happen, is it's not just that the word feels right in that situation, but we can point to other stuff to justify why it might feel right, and that's how we know we're, probably getting the right answer.